Hey everyone, Stampede TV here, and it's time for another Ahsoka review. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment how you feel about this episode. And massive spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't finished Ahsoka or Star Wars Rebels yet. The episode kicks off with Ahsoka and Huyang traveling to another galaxy within the Purrgil. They talk to each other about Sabine and her choice and whether or not it was the right one, and obviously it was, because if Sabine didn't decide to let the villains use the map to the next galaxy, there would be no Thrawn, no Ezra, and no show. Ahsoka beats herself up for not being able to convince Sabine to make the right choice, while Huyang says that if she did make the right choice, we wouldn't get to see all the leftover Rebels IP in live action. They come to a consensus that it was the only viable option for Sabine to make, given how much she loves Ezra, and just to make her feel better, Huyang decides to tell Ahsoka a story.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
He said it!
We cut over to the villains who finally make it to the other galaxy, finding a planet named Peridia, as well as a place Purrgils came to die at the end of their life cycles. This is just like a real-life thing called elephant graveyards. This is a span of land elephants go to when they are sick or too old. The entire colony walks with them and drops them off at this graveyard place, and they kind of just let themselves get eaten. Nature can be weird sometimes. But in the case of the Purrgils, it makes no sense because orbiting this planet is a ring of their carcasses, all being ancient rotted bones. But this makes no sense because things cannot rot in space. There's no oxygen or bacteria or anything to really tear you apart. So you would kind of just sit there forever, intact, but still dead. But hey, the ring still looks super metal. I mean, come on. A ring of carcasses around your planet? That's one hell of a deterrent. Spoilers for the Invincible comic, but the Viltrumites have a planet, right? And orbiting this planet is a ring of dead Viltrumites. I don't remember its exact purpose. I think it was either a disease or something, or making sure that the weak could stay on their toes. I mean, seriously, a ring of corpses, people that died, that's crazy. That'll scare the shit out of you. Anyway, Sabine, Baylan Skoll, some witch lady, and this girl travel down to the planet where they find many massive statues of Night Sisters from the past. They eventually come across 3 Night Sisters doing some type of ritual, and they stop to greet some witch lady, tell her that Thrawn's coming later, and kick Sabine out into the basement. Baylan Skoll tells his Padawan that this ground that he's standing on, this planet, is the stuff of fairy tales.
Stories of this galaxy are considered folk tales.
He tells her that there's things that keep repeating themselves in history. The Jedi crush the Sith crush the Jedi. And he's right, this is the nature of the Force. The Force isn't good or bad, it's balance. As early as we can go back in the Star Wars lore, the Sith were the ones on top, and they got crushed, and that gave birth to the Senate, which was then destroyed by Sidious, and got transformed into the Empire, which then was destroyed by the Rebels, giving birth to a new Republic, which then gets destroyed by the First Order, which is promptly taken down by Rey and those guys. It's just the same shit over and over again. Jedi win, the Jedi lose, Disney makes $1 billion, rinse, repeat. Now, Baylan wants to stop this cycle and bring birth to a new form of living, and the key to doing that is somewhere on this planet. It's then when Thrawn's ship arrives, along with an army of ghetto-ass stormtroopers. I mean, look at their armor, come on. Couldn't clean it off for the big day? Jeez. I'm joking, the dollar value stormtroopers look great. It's Thrawn that I'm kind of worried about. I mean, I know we're trying to cast the voice actor and everything, but just look at him for a second. Come on, guys. Maybe give the actor a cameo next time. Don't give him a whole character, because, yeah, Lars Mikkelsen is the voice we all grew up with, but is he a great Thrawn in live action? He's just not as intimidating a Thrawn as I had hoped for. He just looks goofy, like someone's goofy grandpa. I'm not trying to insult anyone, but they kind of missed here. Acting's great, though. Baylan Skoll tells Thrawn that he captured Sabine and thinks that she could still be a great use to them, agreeing to let Sabine leave alive and healthy with the mount, and directions as to where they last saw Ezra. And they kind of just let her have everything back. Her armor, her weapons, her lightsaber. I mean, it seems too good to be true because it is. They're obviously going to try and track her down. Maybe they put a tracker on her armor just to get to Ezra because she's going to find him, or he's going to sense her through the Force or whatever it might be. And she's going to lead him right to him. And yep, Thrawn tells Baylan Skoll to kill both Sabine and Ezra if they find each other. So Sabine's wandering around on her dog thing, and she's attacked by a couple of those nomads that cool stormtrooper was talking about. Her dog leaves her for dead, but she manages to defeat them, but resorts to using her lightsaber. Her cowardly dog eventually shows back up, and she is very understandably pissed off at it. But it makes up for it because it leads her to rock people who actually know who Ezra Bridger is. We cut over to Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, who are investigating the bodies that Sabine left behind. Shin Hati asks Baylan Skoll if he knows Ezra Bridger, but he says no. He says he doesn't because he's too young and a part of the Boken Jedi, which seem to be the Jedi that were not officially trained by the curriculum of the Jedi Temple. And based on him calling them Boken, which sounds a lot like broken, he does not seem to like this new generation of Jedi very much. Baylan Skoll continues to make claims of an ancient power stirring here. He decides to befriend some of the bandits and nomads in order to find it. Sabine and her dog follow the turtle dudes back to Turtle Dude Village. These guys kind of remind me of that Smurf cat. And at this point, I was getting tired. I was like, bro, can we stop with these damn Ewoks and just find Ezra? Just let the dog eat them at this point. Like, come on. This show is taking too long to show. I mean, how can you wait this long to introduce Ezra and Thrawn and just leave us hanging like that? Well, never mind. I unpaused, and yeah, there's Ezra. He's in the doorway. Alright, so Ezra looks pretty clean. I mean, I won't lie. Still got the scar. His hair's a little different, I guess. It grew in and changed colors. He has a beard now, which is understandable. I mean, he's not going to look identical to the original character. He's been gone for what, like a long time? I don't even know how long at this point. Google says 10 years, but you know, it could be anything really. They hug, and Ezra asks about the rebels and all that stuff. And Sabine asks Ezra if she ever banged one of these things. And they begin to pack up the settlement in order to move to another place. These guys never staying in one place too long due to the danger of their planet. Now, Ezra doesn't know everything about Sabine right now, and because of that, he says something that's kind of sad. He says he can't wait to go back home, and obviously Sabine doesn't have a way back home, because she came with the enemy, and I doubt they're willing to call him an Uber. Quick side note, Lyft is way better than Uber. It's cheaper. Who cares what car you're sitting in? As long as I get to where I need to go in one piece, I am fine. Moving on. Grand Admiral Thrawn tells some witch lady that they have to be ready for everything, and that includes Baylan Skoll's betrayal, Ahsoka Tano's return, and the approach of the Star Whales. And it turns out that Grand Admiral Thrawn actually was using magic, as hinted at in Episode 2. He doesn't use it himself, but he does it through the dark magic of the Night Sisters, which is likely the reason he was even able to call some witch lady in the first place. And that's where this episode ends, and I can't believe it, we finally seen Thrawn and Ezra in live action. Anyone who's been watching my Ahsoka series for a while has known that this is definitely something I've been looking forward to, but also something I mentioned might happen too late in the series for it to matter. I don't know if it's explicitly because they waited so long, both of these reveals just seem a little blunt, you know? Like, we spent all this time, watched all of this content, Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, the first 6 episodes of this series, just to get a hipster and a chubby Napoleon. What do we do now, Stampede, you might ask? And I answer, there's nothing we can do. They have officially sold the bag. The only thing that'll cheer me up now is if that Ezra and Sabine fight happens, and I get to post a compilation of all the times I mentioned it in my series, and brag forever. But yeah, that's not the only thing that's wrong with this episode. I mean, the new galaxy should be, like, way more interesting. It should be, like, groundbreaking, not some Witches of Dathomir hideout. We've seen them already, okay? So why are we focused on these stupid turtle people and these witches when we could be using completely new ideas? As usual, Ahsoka suffers from dragging itself way too long. I mean, the turtle scene was mind-numbing. And you just watch, they're going to be releasing toys of these things in like a week. Also, this is kind of just like a random question. How did Ezra manage to get away from this army of clone troopers in the Rebels finale? He was completely surrounded. I mean, sure, the Purgles were there, but for how long? He eventually had to let these guys go. So what happened next? And please don't say he used the convenience, because that's ridiculous. There's no way he got through that many guards with the Force. But I'm sure we'll get some type of explanation next episode, or at least what he was doing all these years. I mean, I know I would have had a turtle family by now, or at least tried. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. Nah, I'm joking. Anyway, thank you so much for making it this far into this video. I'd really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and send this video to a friend. And comment down below what you think about this episode of Ahsoka. Have a beautiful day, and see you around.